Hi, we are once again. We had a visit with PIS activists, and now we're reading the headlines. Netanyahu says if there's no agreement on the draft law, he will call for re-election, whatever. Then we have the left in Israel has found itself a wonderful occupation. There's a parliament member who, I think he must be like 50 or 60 years old, but they went back to the days of the army and they found somebody who said he forced himself on a soldier when he was like 20 years old. He denies it. Wow, that's really the biggest issue we have, with all due respect. And now something very serious. Bedouin woman, I believe. She has an Arabic sounding name, but this is something that we must stress, it's not just a problem of the Muslims, it is in every single sector. Just 2 weeks ago, a woman was murdered by her husband and buried under a tree in a garden. An Israeli woman, a Jewish Israeli. This is a Muslim Israeli woman. She's a mother. She was 30. Wait, let me see this. 36 years old, a mother of 7 children, shot to death outside of her home. And probably the husband is in prison for attacking her. So it could be somebody in the family. And her husband used to beat her, and he's in jail for that. God, he stepped on her head and hit her with a pipe, and then he attacked his 8-year-old daughter, and then she's shot to death. What a life! What a miserable life of this woman. I just need a moment here to think about what it must be like to bring 7 children to this world, to be beaten constantly, to be stepped on her head and beaten with a pipe, and beaten so badly that the husband went to prison, because you have to be pretty bad violence for him to go to prison. And now she's shot to death outside of her home. Terrible. And good news is that we have silver medal for gymnastics in European Championship. He just missed the gold by 1 step, but still silver for this athlete. Very good. We're doing well there. Then we have the caricature. And Donald Trump is sitting on one of his staff members, and he says, "I'm thinking to find a new friend." Yes, indeed. Then we have the editorial is like, so the Palestinians were singing, "We're gonna conquer Palestine with blood," threatening a violent uprising, take over Israel. But it's not their fault. It's Prime Minister Netanyahu's fault, of course, because of the law of nationality demanding that Israel is a Jewish homeland. He's making everybody angry. The poor Palestinians and Arabs are nothing but little puppets who recite little slogans. They don't mean it when they say they want to conquer with blood. They don't mean it when they say they want to murder everybody here. Of course not. And their little flag raising in the center of Tel Aviv, that doesn't mean anything, of course. They don't really mean it, because they're innocent little souls, and Prime Minister Netanyahu is a wicked man who causes the Arabs to be angry. Then we have the right wing in U.S., extreme right wing. It's a year since the Charlottesville demonstrations where one woman was murdered protesting the right wing. And of course Donald Trump said there are good and bad people on both sides. Of course, neo-Nazis are such nice people. Actually, that seems to be quite the same as what the extreme left is saying. Yeah, neo-Nazis are really nice people. Just their words are a little bit nasty, especially when they march and say that they want the Jews out, you know. There are not enough laws for the whites. Well, luckily I'm not white. I'm sort of yellowish brown. So, interesting news. NASA is going to try to touch the sun. What is the purpose? I do not understand. Do they have too much money in the US? They don't have health insurance, but they send all these. They're sending people to see if they can survive temperature of what? 500,000 degree. Can you even get that in your brain? 500,000 degree. They want to see. They're working on special suits to withstand a temperature of 500,000 degrees Celsius. And the scientists hope this will solve the mystery of the temperature difference between the sun and the atmosphere. I don't know, but do you really care? I don't really care. I mean, is this something relevant for our lives? I mean, there's global warming here. Shouldn't we be doing something on Earth a little bit? Shouldn't we be busy with trying to save the icebergs from melting rather than to spend all that money going into near the sun? But I don't know. The scientists really want to know. So this is the Earth orbit, and then this is the sun. They give you a diagram here. Anyway. So, and an interesting article about foxes. Russian scientists have found a nice research. I'd like to do that. They've tamed foxes in order to understand domestications of dogs. What do you think of that? I think you look like a fox. Maybe you are a fox. In Siberia, they've tamed foxes in order to understand how dogs become domesticated. There's only one problem. They're very busy at night, which makes them difficult pets. Can you imagine, like, all of a sudden they wake up at night and you need to... That could be good for people like me that are active at night. People that have a different cycle, like, could be good for students. Get a fox. Study at night. Take the fox for a walk and study. Anyway, that's the news for today. Never a dull moment here. Right? Except for you guys. Peace, light, and love from all of us.